If Twilight Sparkle didn't exist in My Little Pony universe, who would be the main character of G4? Let's check it out! Hey beautiful people, I'm Julie, and I think our first candidate of G4 protagonist spot is none other than Pinkie Pie. This choice isn't at random, since she basically knows everyone in Ponyville, and maybe everyone in Equestria to be honest. And imagine if Celestia realizes that and decided to make Pinkie Pie her apprentice. I bet that it would be a challenge because Pinkie Pie's too immature. And these ADHD moments of her, oh my god. Or in the moments where Pinkie Pie had to face her inner demons, going back and forth between Pinkie Pie and Pink Camilla, the protagonism of Pinkie Pie would give her more screen time so we could understand all the layers of her personality. Mainly about her tough childhood back in the rock farm till the sonic rainbow that changed her life forever. And of course the title of Princess of Friendship would fit Pinkie Pie really well, for all this history of making friends everywhere and get along with anyone, differently than Twilight, who normally just wants peace and quietness. Another one of the main six that would be great for this role would be Applejack. It isn't that she is a pony that talks to everybody like Pinkie Pie, but she is nice with everyone around her. Remember when Applejack met Twilight for the first time? She barely knew Twilight and introduced her to her whole family. And in case she was picked by Celestia to be her new apprentice, it would be interesting to see Applejack having to move away from her family. Like the Sweet Apple Acres is where she was born and raised. And knowing now that her new life needs to be in Canterlot, one of the fanciest and most wanted places to live, it would be a radical challenge for this pony. It would also be like the history of Princess Switch, where the rich get in, the poor one shoes, and the hobo one needs to behave as a princess for a while. But in Applejack's case, it would be permanent. Actually, it would be really interesting to see the humble farmer pony become one of the highest class princesses. Because as you should know, Applejack simply hates fancy rich stuff. And that would make her swallow her pride and accept the royal position. But if it was for me to pick a pony who is not the main six, I would pick Starlight Glimmer. I feel like she was one of the most interesting ponies in the franchise, making me like her a lot more than the rest of main six, mainly Twilight. Not to mention that it would be really cool to see a villain as a protagonist and understand what she had been through after her friend Sunburst won its cutie mark and left his friend behind to open space for his magic studies and such. Then we would be able to take a closer look of how Starlight managed to reunite and motivate all those ponies to give up their cutie marks. We would also see how Starlight managed to improve her spell all by herself, and even how she managed to get the materials to make those things. And after she was reformulated and become a good pony, who knows if Twilight, who in this case would be the antagonist of the series, wouldn't make Starlight an alicorn. Because guys, all those years of magic needed to be apprenticed. I don't think it's fair that such a talented pony like Starlight ends up in a school that teaches about friendship. At least she should have been the true Twilight's apprentice, or at least Celestia's one. Who knows if she was the protagonist, that would have happened, right? And if you agree with me, what about leaving a like in this video? It helps me a lot. Thinking about it now, Sunset Shimmer as a protagonist would also be really interesting, since we would be able to see and understand what she was thinking. Maybe her development would be like Starlight. She grew up as a villain, so after she could become a good pony. And we would still have a bonus to see Sunset entering the human world for the first time, and finding out how she was able to persuade everyone in the Canterlot High. Legends say that we would finally be able to see what Sunset did with the human version. I'm kidding guys. Actually, I don't really think how this story would play, with Sunset going back and forth in the human world, re-maintaining there from time to time. In case you also have any suggestion of how that would go, with Sunset being the protagonist of G4, feel free to comment down below, okay? Moving on, Cadence would be also a great character choice for the main character role, since we would be able to see who were her parents before she became an orphan, and also how was her journey to this forest of Equestria while she was just a little filly, until she was adopted by a humble pony village, making there her new home. After that, we would see how her transformation into an alicorn was, the day that she learned about the spell of the crystal heart, and who knows what would have happened if she was the ruler of Equestria. Man, this is so awesome because we would see a lot through Cadence's point of view. Like, for example, the reuniting of Nightmare Moon, which should do differently than the main 6. Would she let 5 random ponies face the villain and then become the new elements of harmony? Or who knows if Cadence would win against Nightmare Moon all by herself with love magic? If that's the case, I think that the show would be called Love is Magic instead of Friendship is Magic. Okay, forget it, I lost myself here. I just don't know if Cadence would still want to be a mother after she become ruler of Equestria. I mean, would she have time to take care of her kids? I doubt it. Tell me in the comments what you think about it, I would love to know. But what if the protagonist wasn't from the present Equestria, but from the past, like Star's World? We would finally be able to see more about this pony, how he got his mark, how he met the other pillars, and even how he managed to find out that he was the element of sorcery, just like the old pillars of Equestria. But I think that we all really want to see is how Star's World met the royal princesses and become a tutor to them. Seriously, how amazing would be these episodes? Mainly if they had more of a mystery vibe, just like in the first season of My Little Pony, where the princesses were treated as mythical gods. And of course, we would see in first hand Celestia raising the sun for the citizens of Equestria, as well as Luna bringing the night to the pony world. And remember that Lost Stars World journal that we saw in season 7? If the bearded one was the protagonist of G4, we would have a chance to see how was his learning process every time he wrote something in the journal, or even for what he and the other pillars sacrificed themselves for Equestria. What have them been through when they were in that limbo? Maybe for them it was a matter of seconds, or could they feel the flow of time? And since we're talking about the past of Equestria, wouldn't it be really cool to see Luna's past? And even how she and her sister won their cutie marks. Like, how did they know that they were connected to the sun and the moon? Not to mention that we would also know more about the city of Alicorn, Skyros, that we only got to know in this new season of My Little Pony. Pretty unfair to be honest. Oh, we would finally be able to see the reveal face of Opaline and how the sisters behaved around this future villain. Maybe Celestia and Luna were really mean to Opaline, or was this a mere exaggeration? I particularly would like to see what Luna did in those 1,000 years gap that she was stuck in the moon. Like, what was she doing? Did she pass all the time growing her hatred towards her sister? Maybe she fought with her evil personality, Nightmare Moon, because it is really weird to think that she has been for centuries in that satellite doing absolutely nothing. But tell me, which of these ponies would have been the best one to be the protagonist of G4 if Twilight wasn't around? And if you thought about other characters, tell me in the comment who it was and why would you choose it, okay? Thanks a lot for watching till here, and hasta la vista!